All right, so before, who's going to do the Brookie interview?
I think Jade should.
Do you mind doing the Brookie interview?
Yes.
So here's, do you know what we're doing?
Mind.
I'm getting out of this chair because these chairs suck.
Sorry.
The chairs are amazing as long as you can lean back, right? So
I've
if
been
you can
laying
be
on the-
casual and do
can't
this
2
and
hours
bouncing
in the
them,
dang thing.
yeah, we need the new chairs. So what we need to do is we need to go back to, where is it? West Elm? West Elm, I set up here. We need to buy 4 more of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is we want to replace the second commercial break with the Brookies and turn it into a little commercial for the Brooke Ownens Fellowship.
Oh, cool.
So much like we got Anya's story about like...
What is that?
You, Brooke, no.
Yeah, Brooke, Brooke, exactly. Brooke number 1. We need to get Brooke number 2, 3, and 4. Synapses aren't firing.
I put into the host channel the why it says why are you excited about this news item, but like why are you excited about? I figure Brooke Ownens, like the fellowship. Why is the community excited about this? What is it, and how does it work? I figured that kind of thing, but like.
Also, on an unrelated note, Wicked brings up a very good point, which
Their
is
story.
Europe is going to be changing clocks due to daylight saving time. The show is always at 1800 UTC. Always, always, always 1800 UTC. If your clock changes, UTC never changes, which means if you're changing your clock, the show time for you will change. We do not honor daylight saving time tomorrow because daylight saving time is stupid and needs to go away.
Well, you heard about the California proposition to get rid of it, right?
No, but I'm voting for that. Is that actually on the thing?
No, it is,
Absolutely.
but it has to be a federal decision. But it's going to be California being like, "Yo, we're tired of it."
Oh, you mean like Mike?
Your state can make the decision because Arizona does not honor daylight savings time. Our time does not change here.
Nice.
Yep.
Must be nice.
So anyhow,
That's a state thing. You can make that decision on your own.
Go vote.
we want to bring the Brookies on, do a quick little commercial thing, and have them talk about why it's important to them.
Absolutely.
I feel like I want to change it up somehow so it's not on the set, because if we go to a commercial that's on the set, that's going to feel weird. Do we do it in the newsroom? Do we just spin the cameras around somewhere else?
You could have a cool space background.
Just do it here.
Well, we could take all the chairs out and just stand them up on the set.
Change the chairs, or standing maybe might work.
No, I don't. So the problem with standing is I liked your story, and I feel like your story is going to come out better sitting, if that makes sense. Like if you're standing, it feels more formal. And I don't know that I want formal, but I don't know that it needs to feel different than the show we just did.
You want
Like
to just change the table?
Put a plant.
Well, we don't have plants, but we have bowls of mold. Apparently.
Mold.
So that might work.
Yeah.
Lettuce. That'll be nice.
We do have lettuce.
Yeah, that's true. We do have lettuce.
Oh, that's true, right there.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to sit them around the table?
Yeah.
We'll just clear this set and.
I may not have a
I'm
chance.
going to step out for a moment.
All right, bye, Mike.
guys-
Thank you.
Oh, bye.
Well, these things are just stepping out for a moment,
Okay. Potty break.
but
I'll leave this going if you want to use this.
As a thing. Got it. Thanks. That was kind of cool.
I mean, otherwise we only have like 2 stools. I was gonna say you could raise those up and put them at the bar, but they're too low. There's only 2 of them. Unless you do a combination of sitting and standing.
no, let's just do standing. Let's clear the set. Let's shoot this direction, I think. Dada, how much? We shot this way a lot, though, right?
Yeah, you guys talked a lot.
Should we shoot this direction then?
We were pretty quiet.
All right. So we'll remove the chairs. We'll shoot that way. Yeah, and we'll stand.
You want to bring that table in? Here?
Yeah. Yeah, let's bring that table in here, stand behind that table. You'll kind of stand on this side of the table.
Okay.
You'll stand on that side of the table. That's different enough where it's, yeah, let's keep it awkward.
Do it.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to reset. While we're resetting, I would like to ask the chat room, as we're doing this, what did you like and what did you dislike about the conversational news format? I've actually been pushing for us to do something like this for quite a while. I liked it. I think just getting us started. My feedback is it went way the hell too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that'll.
But everyone made
Refining,
like
yeah.
16 news stories.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
so-
I think you could
refining
do
it will
less
come with
news
time.
stories, talk about it
And just
longer
get
if you
more in
wanted
depth.
to.
Yeah, exactly. Fridge.
All right, so Anya,
Refrigerator.
keep your mic.
I will just go pee real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll hand
I think
over.
maybe it should only be 2 segments
Rather
too.
than turning your mic off, you can just unclip it and keep the cord.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Your chair is no longer behind you. Oh, just lies. All lies.
Jeez.
The hologram is stuck. I forgot that we did that.
Oh, look, I'm untied. Whoop teeth.
Or maybe it didn't go too long. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks it went too long.
It was pretty long.
I know it was long,
cutting
but-
back on stories, that's the only thing you need to do.
It was a little long.
Yeah.
Give me, I need to go do something real quick. Sorry.
I'm gonna need to change. I'm too much info for the chat room, but I'm sweating something fierce. I'm gonna have to change my shirt. Lost my cute poot. Here we go.
It's really funny that Jade chose the word sterilization to talk about the supernovae.
Yeah.
Because I was like scrolling on Twitter feed. At the same time, another space podcast was talking about sterilization, but as in the fact of you would become sterilized if you took a trip to Mars, and they were like, assessing that. I thought that was very,
I'm
very
getting
weird.
a flicker on the background lights.
On one of the background lights.
Yeah. Whichever one.
That shouldn't be possible with these lights.
Whichever one is right up here.
Oh yeah, you are.
HB1,
HB1?
your microphone.
Oh yeah, you need all of the microphones, don't you?
Yep. Sure do.
Okay. I'm hungry. Hi, I'm Jade, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm
What was your?
Pal.
I'm sorry. What was your name?
Pal.
Pal. Pal.
P-A-U.
P.A. Pal. Cool. I'm Jade.
Lily.
Lily. Hi.
Hi, Haley.
Haley. Hello. Haley. Ah, cool. Oh.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
I had like a little like spotlight segment last weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. It was super cool. What the deuce?
We're turning it off tonight.
It's like we're at a bar. Hi. Howdy.
Stop right where you are. Stand. Up. I think that one.
Sorry, I didn't know you were doing something.
I can't fix that easily, so what we need to do is
But I think like if you
Like that?
Can you change
girls are here.
the color temperature?
Yeah. You guys come here often?
not easily. I need something to stand on.
still have
You can stand on the set.
a camera in.
No, you don't
It's a little
understand.
far.
I need to get way up
A lot
there.
of floor space.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Maybe Jared could reach.
Jared.
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 No, see, the problem is I'm gonna have to pull on this
Can
piece,
you-
and I don't want to do that. We need something to stand on.
Are
They're at.
Oh, I just like shoved it in
into
my.
this interview, or is it just going to be the interview?
What's up?
Okay, so no computer.
call?
Don't need it.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. No technology.
Can you guys hear me? In your ear? No?
Do you have it?
Yeah. No, it's just like, can you hear it?
Somebody coughing, but I'm not looking at anybody coughing.
Am I talking? Oh, yeah, I'm talking.
Better?
Yeah, I think that fixed it.
No.
So it's that lamp?
Can you turn it off?
Only if your microphone's on. I don't think you are. But like, you're not.
I don't need an earpiece with this, right?
Correct.
Oh yeah,
I'll be
we
fine.
don't. Ah, I can take this off, can I?
Wait, those are my
Alright, here we go,
headphones,
here
so
we
I
go.
won't forget them.
Not the one.
God.
Yeah. We can definitely hear Jade because she's on.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I mean,
I like that better.
you hear me because I'm loud.
That's not it.
But that's okay too.
Not it.
Well, the only other one it could be is.
Not it.
Okay, so then
Child
that
abduction.
means
Awesome.
it has to be
Amber alert.
none of those.
Oh, well, that was screwed. Put beepings in.
First off, let's try.
I was like, oh, what's happening? It's like, oh, child abduction. Cool.
Oh.
Okay. And then. Did that fix it?
No.
And that fix it.
No.
Well, are you sure it's not the camera?
That was every light.
Really?
Yeah.
Then all of
I
them?
just cycled through every single light back
Is
there.
it the camera? Do you see it?
You know, I see it. Do you see it on your screens in there?
I didn't.
Wow.
this camera too.
Maybe I'm chasing something that's just making me crazy.
I mean, could it just be like almost like zebras? Do these cameras do that sort of thing?
I mean, they do, but that's not a zebra.
No, I know it's not.
Huh, you know, actually, I might prefer that too.
I want to try something.
It's not on the screen?
It's just on the camera screens.
Okay, then I would ignore it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all good. Chasing a phantom. It's all good. It's all good.
Glad we figured that out, guys. Oh, let the crown touch
yeah,
the floor.
sorry, crown.
There it is.
Oh yeah.
I think we're going to reverse it. So we're going to put you on this side. Ladies, we'll put you on that side.
This side? Oh, really? Like this? Or wait, what are you talking about? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so because we need to get
together
all.
and-
Yeah. So we need to get. So we're going to get 4 people over here, and then I figured we'd put you on possibly this side and shoot you this way.
On the table.
On the table, yes, on the table. Actually, yeah, right about
Not Coyote
there-ish,
Ugly,
I think.
but
So the 4 of you kind of back over here.
Huh.
Hey, welcome to this
girl,
table.
hi.
Hey, what's poppin' then? Hey everybody, welcome.
Hi, welcome to the space show. Talk to some smart ladies
We're
about
gonna talk
space.
to some really smart people here who are gonna tell us a
All
lot
about
space.
astrology.
They're gonna tell us all
Astrology?
So,
My moon rising isn't, I don't know.
is it actual stars or is somebody just cut a bunch of holes in the big black sheet above the...
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, your thoughts. Gotcha.
Oh my God.
What are you guys doing up on this hill?
Oh wait, can we like rehearse what we're gonna say?
Where'd you
'Cause I
get your
literally
jacket?
had no
His birthday
idea.
present. Cool guy.
Hey.
Because they're like, yeah, tell me. I'm like, oh, I did not think about it. I thought-
I know, that's what I did last
Okay,
time.
sorry, I'll ask
Close it up
you.
just a little
you
bit
all
more.
introduce yourselves again, and then we can start off with.
Oh, never mind.
Well, I guess we should start off with defining what the Brooke Ownens Fellowship is,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, like, one of you can take on explaining what that is. Since you already did it, do you want to do it?
Oh no, I was like, you guys can do it. I was like, I've
Well,
talked
whoever
enough.
is the
I
most
was like,
comfortable
this-
talking about what
yeah.
it is, and then I
Do you
think.
wanna? Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
you have to do it, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Whoever's most
I've talked
comfortable.
enough. I've
And then
talked
we can
enough.
go down the line in terms of, because like you said, it's not just like it's not just engineering, but there's like other aspects of it. So you can talk about what you do specifically with the fellowship.
I feel like all of us did engineering though. Yeah.
Oh,
I did
cool.
operations for my internship.
Awesome. Okay, yeah. I think so. I think.
different.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think when you're doing your intros on who you are, just explain like what you did too. So yeah, be like, my name is my name, and then I did this at this, and oh wow.
About there?
But we stay back here, right? Oh.
Everyone needs to be as awkward.
At an awkward distance away from the table.
with one hand touching it.
Yes.
Also, I just texted Will. Deadline to apply is still the 6th.
Oh really? He said they.
No, he said
extend-
don't tell.
It's okay. It's okay. We can edit that out.
It's totally fine.
only
It's
the
totally
live
fine. It's totally
people
fine.
that know. No,
Yikes.
It was like
that
a
out.
sub.
Right?
He like did like 4 sentences, and then he was like, "But don't tell anybody." Yeah. And like
Well,
you had to get to
Will,
the.
Kinda
I
sounds like
had
it.
my Facebook deactivated, so I did not get that message. Oh no, that is. I'm sorry, Will.
He said it's fine.
How
They're gonna
long?
know
What's our
it's
target
gonna
length?
go.
Yeah,
for this?
yeah. He said like next week.
Couple minutes. Okay. So what are the main points you want me to hit on? Like what it is, how you can apply for it, and then why it is, right? Why is Gamora?
Like, yeah, why? Yeah.
So, for what it is,
Oh,
it's a fellowship.
I'll
for
do you one
women
better. Why is
meant to
Identify
Okay.
as women.
anyone who identifies as a woman.
yeah, and like why something like this is
This
important
entire time.
versus like any other type of fellowship that.
For undergraduate students who identify as a woman, who are interested in space, aerospace
Yeah.
industries,
And aviation.
and aviation.
That's rad.
Aerospace.
Sorry,
Yeah.
get excited.
Space and aviation, yeah, instead of
Yeah.
aerospace.
Aeronautical and astronautical
That's super cool.
industries.
And then I'm sure you guys too have thoughts on like why we need something like this. Like why does
Yeah,
the
that's what I was like. Do we like?
Do
we go? I was like, do we like go into it, or we like not go into it? I was like, how hard are we going? Because that's why I was like, oh, can somebody? I was like, yeah, it's good, but I was like, you want me to go? Like, why is it inclusive?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I feel like that's like that's I think what we're trying to get at is like.
It is a male-dominated industry, and it needs to change.
Yeah, dude, say what you want to say. Say what you need to say.
I need to identify my microphones. If you have a microphone, can you turn it on?
Oh yeah, turn on all of your microphones.
That would be important.
Yep. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry.
Mine has
How?
a green light.
How?
I know that much.
It's
Yeah.
short
I'm
for
green
Commander.
Capcom.
What?
Yeah. What does your pack say?
So people can hear me now.
Your commander. Sorry. POW is Capcom. I apologize.
Lily.
Yeah. Yeah. Lily is commander. Haley.
Let me get just POW mic check real quick.
Perfect. Can you speak? Wow.
Hi.
What's your
my
favorite thing
name's
you had
Pal.
for breakfast?
I
Favorite thing.
skipped breakfast
How does
today.
everybody have toast? It's not even a thing.
Millennials. They're millennials.
Was there
Oh,
avocado?
was there
on that
avocado?
toast?
I wouldn't be able to afford a house.
Right?
What's the favorite thing you've ever had for food?
I love Mexican food. I'm Mexican, so if I go to Mexico, get tacos there, then they're really good.
Is that about the volume you think you would be speaking?
I think this is the volume I would be speaking at, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Whatever you're
Thank
most
you.
comfortable with.
Do they like adjust it based off the way I'm speaking?
Yep.
Cool.
Exactly. Cool.
Who's
So
commander?
you're done. Who's what?
Commander.
Your commander, right?
I'm commander.
Lily's commander. What's your favorite food you've ever had?
I really love macaroni and cheese. And
go.
I should just keep talking, right? That's the whole point of this. And this morning I had grapefruit for breakfast. And it was great.
Great.
It was great.
Good, thank you. MS1.
MS.
Yeah, are you? Yes, you are one. Haley is MS1.
So hi, I'm Haley. I did not eat breakfast this morning either, but I took my dog for a walk because I knew I was coming here. So she didn't really want to walk because she still wanted to be asleep, but we walked.
Cool, thank you.
And I think that's about.
We don't have MS2. This is still.
No, she's
still
mine.
on the extra.
She's mine
extra.
now.
I think Jade's MS2.
Yes, Cerritos.
So taco.
Like 300% sure. Yeah.
No, it doesn't have like a.
Oh, you need more.
I need more.
Talk more.
Oh, okay. Yeah, easy. Hi. Hey, Dada. What's going on? Hey there. Hi. How you doing?
Cool, thank you.
Hey. Hi. I can't hear you because I don't have an ear, but that's fine. Hi. Hey. 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 Going through all the different levels I
Okay.
may speak.
Cool.
Thank you.
Do you need unmute the speaker? No. I mean, she hasn't changed. But neither did she, so okay.
No, I just wanted to tell you that there are also a bunch of corny Russian movies that he missed for his timeline of movies. And like
Russian movies.
Yeah, especially for the last like 5 years, they've been hitting it hard with like really bad space movies. So yeah.
And it's so I just want to get the official title right. So I'll announce you as these are 4 fellows from the Brooke Owens
Fellowship
program. Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure I wasn't shaking that.
2 of us were from last year's class, and the other
2017.
2 of us from this year's class. I think we're technically not fellows anymore. We're just brookies.
Yeah,
That's what you graduate
So I
to.
could say past and present.
Yeah.
Some past and present
Fellows.
from the Brooke Ownens Fellowship program,
All known as brookies.
aka Brookies, for those in the know. Well, I'm in the know now. Watch out.
All right. Whenever you're done, are you ready?
I think so. Can I get Jade centered in camera?
Yes. I don't know about yours.
You want Jade centered on camera 3?
Yeah, I think so.
So you want me to move the camera? Or you
That
want
means
Jade
I have to go this way.
I don't care.
Cool.
Wherever
Move
Jade's
the
going to
camera.
be, move the camera.
All right, Jade, be comfortable.
Do you see us?
Should I make sure not
Is
to?
that all right?
Should I scoot that way so I'm not half?
Oh yeah, am I blocking?
Yeah, that looks generally okay.
Chat room wants to know if they'll be included in this.
No.
Sorry.
No, this is more of a commercial than anything else.
Hence no computer.
But they can submit questions to the Ask a Brookie.
Wait, can they see it?
page.
Can they hear what we're doing?
Ask a
That's
Brookie.
so cool.
We
Yeah.
have a page, yeah.
Yeah. On the website.
We could be able to like put a link into their chat.
Ben's going to follow.
Yeah.
Is Will watching? He can put on the link.
You're going to follow.
Karen's watching.
Should I do
think.
an intro then?
Karen
Like
said she was
Jade,
watching.
Kim,
Karen, put a link in the
Albie,
chat.
Or just like go right into
Karen.
it.
I think you can
I'm
go
your
right
biggest
into
fan,
it.
Karen.
Intro
Karen, if you're
Since this
watching.
is technically
Shout
going
out
in the
to
middle,
Karen.
like, we're
Karen,
just
Karen,
gonna-
love you, Karen.
We've already been
Hey,
introduced.
Karen.
We should introduce everyone here.
Exactly.
Just really quickly, and then we don't want to turn this into a 20-minute thing.
Got
but like
it.
2
Okay,
to
so
5.
never mind.
Like we're trying to So it replaces our second commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought so. Okay. So that again, just introducing yourselves and then what program you worked on, and then I'll ask, what is the Brooke Ownens Fellowship?
Mm-hmm.
Why is the Brooke Ownens Fellowship?
What? Why?
And then how to apply.
How to apply, and how can everyone get involved?
Got it.
As a mentor.
If you're already in the industry, you want to become a mentor to a rookie.
I mean,
Got
the,
it.
The reality is we have just like the industry, the viewership of tomorrow is mostly male. When you look at the statistics. So we, if we can find a way to make it inclusive so that someone can help somehow, that would be good.
Right.
Right.
I dig it. All right. You give this. So I'll be looking at that camera?
All of them. I mean, just
all of them. I know I'll be ultimately looking at them.
Open at that camera, and
Okay.
then just once you've done that, just turn and then have a conversation
Okay.
in the most awkward way possible, which is why we've chosen you.
Hey guys. Got it. Hey there, I am standing with 4 fellows from the Brooke Ownens Fellowship program, both past and present, which I will be referring to as Brookies from this point on. So if you ladies don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourselves and then what specific program you actually got to work on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm Palpinella. I was a Brookie 1 year ago. I'm still a Brookie. I was a fellow a year ago. I interned at Orbital ATK through the Brooke Ownens Fellowship program, and I was lucky enough to work on their Cygnus program, which resupplies the International Space Station.
Hi, I'm Lily Clark. I just finished my summer doing the Brooke Ownens Fellowship internship portion, and I was working at SSL, formerly Space Systems Loral, and I was working in Mission Systems Engineering.
Hi, I'm Haley Lewis. I was a Brookie in 2017, and I interned at the Mojave Air and Spaceport up in Mojave, California. And I got to work on more of the policy side and the operations side of getting the spaceport element of the airport up there up and running, and then supporting all of our companies that are out there on the property.
That's awesome. I did not know that. Hi, my name is Anya. I interned at Stealth Space Company. I was their propulsion intern. I got to do a lot of cool things.
Very cool. So really quick for viewers out there who might not know what the Brooke Ownens Fellowship is, can one of you kind of explain what it is and how it came about?
Yeah. The Brooke Ownens Fellowship is a program for undergraduate women or anyone who identifies as a woman. And it's meant to kind of create a community that will support women who work hard. I don't want to call ourselves successful.
I would. I'll be the one to call you guys successful.
To be successful.
Any woman who's passionate about getting into this industry and who wants to work hard and make cool things
Essentially,
happen.
it just fosters growth and kind of an awareness for women in the aerospace industry, since we're so underrepresented. Kind of pairs each Brookie up with a mentor and with a ton of mentors and with an internship, so they can kind of have a heads up or a boost on their career.
See, and that's amazing because, like you said, that this is very needed because women are, as you may have noticed, pretty underrepresented in the aerospace industry. And I remember hearing earlier that, so you're all engineers, but this fellowship is open to those who want to get into the aerospace industry, but not necessarily just engineers, not just necessarily the technicals. So what other aspects or what other programs are available within this fellowship that aren't necessarily engineering?
one of our really good friends did her internship with Space Angels in New York, and I think they're
venture capital
firm.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
she got to do a lot of like business stuff and policy stuff. So
that can be just as important. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah, and it was totally amazing experience. So if you're interested in being involved in space industry at all, at any capacity, business, I don't know, policy, engineering as well, you can do it.
We also had someone in our class who was into education, so she worked at the Museum of Flight in Seattle, I think. And so she worked with, I think, kindergartners and kind of like, teaching them about space or younger children. And we also have people who work in media. So we had, I think, an intern at GeekWire, right?
Yeah, science communicators. And we have some great mentors for our science communicators, and always looking to add more to kind of. But like you said, like there's engineering, but there's other aspects. So we're always kind of like looking for mentors that kind of do those peripheral parts of everything that goes into like aviation, aerospace, that kind of thing.
See, and that's amazing. For instance, if I'd have known something like that existed when I was an undergrad, you best believe I would have went after that very hard. But oh well, my time's passed. But anyway, so if there are some ladies out there who are now very interested in this fellowship program, how can they go about applying?
So applications are due November 6th.
Okay.
The application there's a big emphasis on creativity, and you want to be able to demonstrate that you have showed your passion elsewhere. So you have to submit a multimedia essay, a written essay, and then your transcripts, letters of recommendation, all the usual application stuff.
Very cool. And the requirements is that you are an undergrad, and
you can be a graduating senior. You have to be an undergrad at the time of applying.
Okay. That's awesome. And then is there any requirements regarding major or GPA or anything like that?
No.
Fantastic. Again, I would have applied to that. Okay, great. So what if there are people out there who aren't necessarily ladies or ladies who want to be in the aerospace industry but still want to support you? How can other folks kind of help out with the Brooke Ownens Fellowship program?
I would say one of the first things that anybody can do is to encourage somebody that they know who could apply to the Brooke Ownens Fellowship to apply. One of the biggest things that we find in our community is getting that feedback and telling somebody that they might succeed in something makes them more willing to sign up for it. Because I know I was not going to apply for the Brooke Ownens Fellowship because I was like, oh, that's like very extreme. Like they're probably all really smart. Like I won't make it. And then I had a couple professors and some mentors reach out to me and encourage me to apply. So encourage somebody to apply today. That would be the number one thing you can do.
The other thing is the Brooke Ownens Fellowship doesn't just exist for the 30, 40 women that are selected each year. Like we're just trying to contribute to the greater industry. So you don't have to directly go through the Brooke Ownens industry. If you just support a woman who wants to go into aerospace or any woman in a STEM field, I think that helps us out immensely.
I love it. That's awesome. So for those of you out there who can see what an amazing program this is and how I guess just amazing it is that, like you said, it's not just through this program, but to contribute to the overall good of the aerospace industry. Encourage a woman to apply, encourage a woman to pursue their interest in aerospace. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the fellowship before we say goodbye?
Oh, don't let imposter syndrome stop you from applying.
Absolutely.
Because that is definitely a number one blocker to like any, believe in yourself and then everything will be great. Apply to Brooke Ownens Fellowship.
And if you have any questions, there is you can go onto the brookowensfellowship.org website and look for the Ask a Brookie page, and you can submit your questions about anything, and it will get directly sent to one of the past Brookies who will just email you and give you their feedback.
That's a really cool kind of format for a very supportive community. I like that a lot. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us and telling us all about the Brooke Ownens Fellowship program. Again, if you guys have any questions out there, feel free to visit the website that she mentioned. You can ask a Brookie yourself. I mean, what better way to get the information than from a Brookie themselves? Thanks for joining us, and maybe we'll see you next time.
I'm keeping that.
I know. Awesome. That didn't work out a good thought.
No. Endings are hard. Like intro.
I didn't work out. I was all like, oh, we're going in, we're gonna talk, and then we're gonna say goodbye.
Do any of you have interesting stories? Like how did you get into it, or like what's your? Have you all been space nerds since you were itty bitty? What's your stories?
I don't know.
I don't know if my story is particularly cool, but
It probably is.
Probably
Go for it.
I think it's very mundane. But I have two brothers, and they were both into science and engineering, and I think a lot of times role models is the big reason why women don't go into STEM, but I had my two brothers to look up to, and I always kind of tried to compete with them, and I was like, and they're like civil engineering, physics. I was like,
wait, a lack of role models or bad role models?
I think a lack of role models for women.
Or role models you don't identify
I was
with.
going to say, exactly.
When you don't see somebody
That's
like
what
you
I mean.
doing the things that you're interested in, you're just like, oh, I don't think I can do it.
Like
Yeah.
when you walk into a business meeting and you're the only female.
It's It's a lot easier to see yourself doing a job if you can see someone else like you doing the job.
Absolutely, and that's why representation is so important, especially with females, but I mean, you look at all the different minorities as well, you know, it goes a long way when you can actually see somebody that looks like you in that.
Yeah,
that's
for
really
sure.
cool. That is really cool.
So we're trying to change that. We're trying to make it like more visible, so that younger women can be like, oh, there's this really cool person called Haley, and she's doing awesome things at Boeing. I want to be like her, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Anybody else with some maybe epiphanies as to space? Yes, go now.
I had zero idea what I wanted to do actually until I was in a junior in high school, which I guess that's pretty early on.
Yeah, that's pretty early.
That's pretty early on. But I knew I liked math, and so I grew up in Florida, right? Like we have the Space Coast right there. Completely oblivious. Had zero idea. Like I saw maybe one shuttle launch, because I saw the plume in the sky, that was it.
Yeah.
And then I had a teacher come in and start a robotics program, and she had been a NASA engineer. So she kind of came in and she was she started dropping seeds. She was like, hey, do this. Hey, do this.
She knew what she was doing.
Yeah. So, and then now I'm here. So.
Yeah. I was part of the robotics team in my high school, and I feel like that really pushed me into it too.
Yeah. The first robotics competition this year is space themed.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Boeing's sponsoring all of it. Yeah, every single JFL, FLL, FTC, and FRC are all space themed. It's awesome. It's all deep space because deep space.
Nice.
So I did not really do anything engineering in high school. I went to a performing arts high school. And so as of graduating high school, I was still seriously considering pursuing a profession in that. And then I also loved math, and I had just taken physics and knew that I liked physics, and that's all that I knew. But then I applied to and got into MIT, and so once I was there, I was like, well, I should maybe try engineering, and that's kind of how I got here. So not the most direct route.
But that's super cool, though. Do you think that your previous background in the performing arts helped you have an edge in engineering, though?
Her submission, she was actually, did you make a dance? Because it's we have a multimedia, so. Yeah, because so one of the main, one of the coolest things, it's again not about your transcript, because sometimes you look at a transcript and you're like, okay, they're smart, but they care about your personality. They care about who you are, what happened, and why. So literally, she was, tell them about your submission package.
So you have to do something, and I choreographed a dance, which is not what I went to performing arts high school for.
But still, it was really good. I was I just did a whiteboard video, put in some pictures.
Yeah.
It was
the
I think
applications
mostly,
are awesome.
Yeah. I think mostly it's just an emphasis. The reason that they look for that is that they want creative thinkers, because if you can demonstrate it in some way, then you can put it into your design process in engineering also.
100%. Yeah.
Are you looking to blend art and science, or is there kind of a line in the two for you?
Great question. I think there's a lot of overlap in how you go about thinking about things. So the research that I'm doing right now is very systems level thinking about things. I work with networked robotics. And just coming at something from a really high level is, I feel something that I did in my arts background that carried over.
That's really neat. Yeah.
So you're building Skynet?
Oh yeah. You can't talk about it, Ben. Jeez, way to put her on the spot. Gosh, sorry about that. Anyways, so who have we not heard of with your epiphany story?
I think epiphany story. We
kind
of
heard
your epiphany story.
Oh, you did. Yeah, it's alright.
I talk a lot. It's fine. It's fine. You guys can skip me. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't go yet?
No, she did.
Yeah,
You did, right?
robots.
Sorry.
Robots. The first robots one. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Amazing. Sorry, I got. That's confusing. Why? It's all like it's just their torsos on that
Oh,
camera. So
I
it's like,
see. I see.
weird angle.
It's an advertisement.
Weird. They're
almost.
perfect. Better.
Well, the camera.
And now I got a foot. Oh, wait, where's my? Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm dancing
I think
now.
it's done.
All right then. Anything else, Ben? You think we should have? Ben.
I'm reading the comments.
Just
we
one
got
thing.
what we needed. This was just us.
Extra.
interacting with the chat
Okay,
room.
cool.
Oh, sweet.
Just
Hi,
one thing.
chat
We
room.
also get like really cool mentors. Like my mentor was Devin Newman.
I was gonna ask about that actually.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. So we have like really awesome mentors. So one of the things that like I really didn't like have a space epiphany. Like I was always like, okay, like I like to do things, but like I never wanted to be an astronaut. Like as you were talking today, like I never wanted to go to space. I'm like, you're gonna get cancer. You're gonna die. Like you're gonna be isolated.
No, there's a list. There's a whole list.
I can add things to your list.
Like I understand.
Well,
Like a lot of people.
I'm in the same boat.
A lot
I
of
think
people
going to
just
space is an acquired
a
taste.
lot of people like here, like in our fellowship, they want to be astronauts, and like I listen to them and I'm like, you go, girl, I get it, but I'm like, I don't want to do it. Like I never wanted to.
Yeah, same.
All of my friends like here, like I'm okay. Like I'm okay.
Just send me some pictures. Like
So
it would be great.
like
Tag
me
me
personally,
there.
I was just like, okay, like I wanna like what I was doing like in my undergrad, like one of the last things I've noticed, I guess, right before I left, I was like, okay, like there are no leadership, like women leadership, like and because like women just like get so scared and they're like, okay, like I'm trying to do a good job, be a good engineer, and they just focus like on one thing and they just keeping their head down, and I'm just way too like extroverted for that, and I was like, okay, like there has to be another way. There have to be a way that you like a good engineer, but you're also like interacting with the company, making yourself seen. So one of the things that I was talking about like in my application was like, okay, like I really like there are certain phases of space industry that I would like to see like one woman who is just like, okay, I feel like I'm gonna do things differently, because like a lot of, again, like people feel like this community might not be as welcoming for certain people. I was like, I want to change it. I want to maybe start a company and do something like different. And just that's what I was talking about, because I was like, I don't want to be an astronaut, like it's cool, but all I want to do is just like make sure like people here and we're sending people to space like in a like different, maybe like different way. So again, like if you just have like aspirations to change the industry, that's all the all that's important to us.
Inspired.
Yeah.
Also, I want
It's
to talk
inspiring
about
our
like,
neighbors too.
They're having a party over there.
Live is so inspiring. Yeah.
Let's dance.
Yeah, and it's kind of also the whole program is in the namesake of Brooke Owens. She was an awesome individual who we lost too soon. And like this program is created by 3 of her like really close friends. Shout out to Cassie, Will, and Lori for being awesome. And the elements of like the multimedia and like the Brookie spark and like that passion and creativity is because Brooke was so involved in all those aspects, and that was a lot of space people, like space defines them. And I say this all the time, so you've probably heard me say this before, but like a lot of times I go like, hi, I'm an engineer, or like, hey, I do this, and like I'm defined by the program that I'm working on, and like that's like the thing. But like then she would like go home and have time to like be like a DJ, like do poetry. She would go to Africa and like
Renaissance woman.
Like she would do all these kind of different things, and like that was just her. That was just Brooke. And Brooke would like take you along for her ride basically.
And what's great is that the fellowship kind of tries to make us become more like her in a way.
More Brookie. They make us write poetry. Traumatic experience.
It was pretty awesome. For me,
Talk about going out of your comfort zone.
And they make you do it at this, it's like the very first event where they bring in all of the mentors.
So part of
They just throw you in there.
I'm having like a PTSD episode.
Second grade. Oh man. And you're like making eye contact with like former deputy of NASA.
So in addition,
I can kind of see why they did that though. They really just throw you into an uncomfortable situation. So it's like, look, you basically ate the frog.
You survived.
Yeah.
Who are some of the mentors? Because you said
that's
former
right.
I mean, like, who are some of the mentors?
Charlie Brown.
That's one of my favorite things.
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Bolden.
Charlie
Brown. I was like, get out!
You're fine. I work with the Charlie Brown too, so you're totally fine.
We're doing Lieutenant Colonel Charlie Brown.
Charlie Bolden is a mentor. Lori Garber, former deputy, is a mentor. David Newman, former deputy and former chief scientist, is a mentor. Ellen Stoffen, former chief scientist.
Space gal.
And that's just
Space
NASA.
Emily Calandrelli.
We have a lot of astronauts. We also like Dan Hart's a mentor.
Anusha
CEO of Virgin Orbit. Anusha Ansari. Also George Whitesides is a mentor.
Oh, nice.
There's a ton of them.
Yeah, my mentor is Michelle Murray with the FAA,
Yes!
AST.
Oh, she's such
awesome.
a nice.
She is awesome.
Yes, she's awesome.
Michelle Murray. That's so cool.
Yeah, I know. She's moving back to DC. She's
Oh,
moving back
yeah.
to the East Coast.
She,
I know.
a little unrelated, but having to do with Michelle Murray, so the nonprofit I work for, we launched a space challenge for university students on getting a rocket past or to the Kármán line, and she represented the FAA at the event and spoke, and she was so inspiring because, again, a woman in aerospace, and she was talking about the importance of representation. So that's really cool you got to work with her because, again, phenomenal lady.
Is it getting better? Like from your, because I mean I can see where it's at right now today, but what do you think of tomorrow? Is that
I think
flipping it all? I mean, it's not going to be an overnight change.
I think so. I think there's a really big people want it to change.
Barriers
There
are
are people.
starting
I would say there are a lot of people that are really excited, but then there are a lot of people who are just like, okay.
Why?
Like they're just kind of like, I would say it's like 50-50. Even like from my personal experience, like this summer, like there were a lot of people who were just like, yes, like I have a daughter, like I want her when she's like older to be able to do anything else. And then I had another like person in my company say like it's actually easier to be like an engineer and a girl. And I was just like, okay, thanks. Like why aren't we have more women here? So I don't know. I guess like it's changing, but I feel like there are also people that do not see the importance of it, and I think that needs to change.
It's a little hard sometimes because, there's so many different perspectives that go into this, but a lot of people aren't comfortable with having a program just for women.
Yeah.
It's kind of the mentality where it's kind of reverse discrimination, and it's a really complicated discussion.
It is.
It's important to listen to both sides, but something has to be done about how there aren't any women in the industry, and I'm open to any suggestions and all suggestions. And ideally, things like the Brooke Ownens Fellowship, in my opinion, we work so that we don't need the Brooke Ownens Fellowship, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Eventually,
that's such a good way to put it.
when it's 50-50, make it open to everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Your job's done. And that I'm glad you brought that up because it is a touchy subject. People will argue this is reverse discrimination. Why don't you open up to men too? But it's well, men don't necessarily. I'll get definitely crucified for this, but men don't have an issue getting into these STEM fields because it's always been in their favor. We've always had a society that cultivated. Thank you. We've always had a society that's kind of cultivated and encouraged, engineering and math and tech upon males, and it's only. Yeah, I mean, even just watch Hidden Figures. I mean, there were so many women behind the scenes, but it's look at the barriers that were there, and so that wasn't even that long ago, and there's still a lot of barriers. But I mean, it's thanks to ladies like yourselves that things are starting to change for the better. But there's still a lot of work to be done.
The formation of the Brooke Ownens Fellowship is based off of the Matthew Iskowitz.
No, they
Matthew is off of.
Sorry, I apologize.
And that's graduate students.
Yeah.
Graduate
So there is
students.
a relatively similar program that is specifically for. So there was, not that there was backlash, but there was another need to be filled, and so it does exist.
Exactly, and it's we need concentrated
Thank you. I appreciate
efforts.
Yeah. I'm I know they're related. I just can't remember how. Matthew, another amazing individual in our community. Again, kind of like you were saying, it sometimes can feel. I'm going to speak a little bit louder to make sure I'm actually caught on mic. It can sometimes feel as though that there is a barrier for any reason, right?
Absolutely.
You didn't speak English, right?
Or even socioeconomic status.
Yes.
Any and all those, and that's exactly what both of these fellowships are trying to do, is trying to break down that, give you a little bit help, more of an in, and then it's funny, it's hilarious, imposter syndrome too. Once you get in, you're oh wait, there's only 300 of us in the whole world who are doing things. It's a really, really small community. So it's more about, if you want to do something, do it. And this is a beautiful
now
stepping
give your
stone.
best Shia LaBeouf impression. Do
it! Don't let your dreams be dreams!
So Astro YYZ says, I look forward to a day when it doesn't matter. Where there is inequality,
absolutely.
And this isn't a conversation that we need to have anymore because it just doesn't exist.
And bringing it up even seems oh gosh, remember back in the days when there was hardly any women in the aerospace?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I mean, there's certain, but and that goes for a lot of issues in the aerospace. Again, when it comes to representation, the representation of minorities, so. I like that though. That's an optimism for there is going to be a day in the future when we look back at this, maybe when we're grandmas and we're talking to our grandbabies.
Hopefully sooner.
Hopefully sooner.
Hopefully
Yeah.
sooner.
I think it will be sooner. Right? When I went to high school, like when I was in high school, the idea of women going into engineering was kind of scoffed at. And I'm old, but I'm not that old. And I don't feel like that's, I mean, it's still there a bit, maybe, question mark, but it doesn't seem like, at least in high school, it's there.
I would say, from my perspective and my experience, there's a lot of targeted, like supportive groups targeting, young students, elementary school, middle school, high school, and then there's a lot of active work in the industry, and the industry is obviously like taking note of this and questioning it and doing like back checks to see where it's originating from. But then there's also the academia section right there is still very rough. There's some targeted programs to encourage more diversity in tech and STEM areas, but the academia part is a very big chunk of time, 4, 5, 6, however long you're staying in there, that you have to face those doubts kind of alone, and then also kind of tenured professors alone. So I think that is probably like one of our biggest gaps right now.
And so very related, there's a big push to get women to think when they are in high school, like you can do STEM, but what's lacking is that extension up to like the C-suite of companies, and like like it starts at the PhD level of like you shouldn't just get an undergrad degree, like get a PhD in STEM so that one day you can be a leader. But so like the rate of entry is getting much better, but the rate of retention,
matriculation,
all of that is where I think the push is going to take longer.
Because there's
because change
Went
will.
Shotwell, I mean, I realize I can name one, but I mean, what an incredible, just human. I mean, she's driving that ship with or without Elon.
Right? Actually, amen to that.
Sometimes in spite of.
And once you have women in C-suites, it's easier the whole way up.
Exactly. And like you said, that's what's going to take a lot of work, though. Like, that's what still needs a lot of attention. So then, from you guys personally, let's say, for instance, USC, I have a student who I worked with. She's a brilliant engineering student, and she had no idea what she wanted to do. And so she actually ended up working with our LPL people at USC. So she was in the Liquid Propulsion Lab Fellowship, and she went from not knowing anything about propulsion or rocketry to now working and being like a vital member on their team. But again, she's the only girl on that team.
Oh my God, I met her yesterday. Does she have like kind of I met her. Yeah.
Surly?
I did. Yeah, because
one of my favorite students.
That's how small the space is.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
That one girl you're talking about, I met her yesterday.
That one girl, right? We really do all know each other. It's not a weird statement. Yeah. Okay, so brilliant, amazing, but she is. I'm pretty sure she's the only person on that team who is a female.
Yes, she is.
And so what advice do you think that we can give the Surleys of the world, like where they made it into what they want to do, but they are still that's just the beginning, that's the tip of the iceberg, because they're still kind of in a very male-dominated space. What advice could I give them to have them keep going, or to just keep chugging along, or enter it in the first place?
Something that makes me feel good about like what I do, and kind of like when I look around the room, something that encourages me is kind of still feeling like we're still trailblazers. Like we're opening the doors for other women to, to be in the industry.
It's the Wild West.
We are making a ton of change right now just by being who we are, and being engineers in a male-dominated field.
Wish I was taking notes. That's really good stuff.
So like, I think just thinking that and like being aware of that really helps me.
Like superheroes.
I think also just kind of, it's not necessarily finding like yourself within the industry, but just finding yourself. Like Anya said kind of earlier, that she was just like, oh, I don't know what engineering is, but I'm just gonna do it. Like she just did it, and don't question it before you try it. Like obviously, like if you try it and like it's not your thing, like that's cool. I started out in aerospace engineering, and then I like tacked on like 4 different minors, and then like changed around, and then ended up changing majors, and like I still did it. I still am in space, but I did spaceflight operations, which is completely different, has completely different segment than aerospace engineering classes. but I found a way that made sense for me. And you'll find your way too, no matter what. Like you'll find who you are and like what maybe mechanical engineering isn't what you thought it was going to be. So like you go find out what you were searching for originally or something.
Nice.
So
very cool.
you'll do it.
Neat. Any other last sentiments for the trailblazers out there?
True.
Cool.
Don't let it stop you, because I feel like once, so I'm an overthinker, I feel like a lot of people are, but like once I start thinking about it, like, oh, I'm the only girl, oh, I'm this and I'm that, and it just kind of like sometimes I like, oh my God, I'm like my own, not like my own enemy, but like the imposter syndrome is really, really like sometimes loud, and it's just like, whoa, 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 whoa. And at the end of the day, it's all about your work. If you're passionate about your work and if you're passionate about what you're doing, focus on that. There'll be people who would not like, you know, there just be people who are like might not be nice to you. There might be people who are just don't want you to succeed, but focus on your work, focus on becoming better person, better engineer, better whatever, and then again, it will happen. Like, yeah.
Accountability. Work on your hustle. You heard it here first.
True.
Amazing. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you for that. I mean, that really is valuable to, again, like inspire the next generation or inspire the current generation who, you know, maybe there's a student out there who feels lost in their major and they didn't realize, duh, I'm supposed to be an aerospace engineer. I'm supposed to work in systems, you know. So.
Or there's another really good thing. Aerospace engineering, especially, it's not just one thing. Like, it's not just, building
so
rocket. Like, I wish I knew that starting in, because it's like, okay, like, I will just do this. And then it's like, oh, what are CubeSats? Like, I literally didn't know until I joined the team. I'm like, wow, this box of cereal is going to float to space. Like, this is amazing. So there's so many things. And you can get your engineering degree and then just go into policy, go into anything. Like, honestly,
At my school, we split up, like, within the aerospace engineering degree, you could have 5 different concentrations.
Damn, that's nice.
Like, propulsion design, dynamics and controls, structures, and something else. I don't know.
Something for everybody.
There's so much out there that you can help with.
Nice. Well, thank you. Benjamin, is there anything else
I think we can wrap. We'll make that our after dark, and I think it was good enough. I think it's important enough that we'll just release that immediately without the normal delay.
Nice.
So we'll just make that available to everyone as soon as it's done processing.
Okay.
Cool. On that note, I think we'll call it a day. Unless anyone in the chat room, something. That was fantastic.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Oh, I could keep going. I could keep talking for hours. Thank you so much.
For sure.
That was awesome.
All
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. We're going to try the roundtable thing again. I'm speaking loudly, so someone's microphone can pick me up. Oh, yeah, that works. No, it's fine.
Just start throwing mics at you.
I'm on 6. So we're going to try the roundtable thing again next week. I might tweak it a little bit, maybe bring it down to 2 segments, get the time under control. But it sounds like generally everyone enjoyed it for the most part. And so I'm considering the idea that that's how we'll just do our news from now on. And then I actually really liked having her on for the news segment too. That was actually pretty cool. I don't know how to make that work, but stuff and things to think about. So
I think it's exciting,
Yeah, it is exciting. It's fun, like having the guests through the whole show. Yeah, that was kind of fun.
One of us.
One of us.
Let's throw them into the shark pit.
All right, on that note, thank you everyone so much for watching. We'll see you in a week.
Bye.